Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you're here. If you get the chance and you're so inclined, please hit that subscribe button down below. If you hit the bell notification icon next to it, it'll notify you when I release videos. It'll also notify you when I go live. And it also helps people see the videos that I put up, allegedly. So I really appreciate it. But let's jump right into it. And today I kind of want to give my long-term review slash observations slash living with this Wii Mini Malice for the last almost year. I picked up this knife at Blade Show 2022 in Atlanta. This is one knife that I was actually kind of chasing, so much so that I missed the SNEX Vision R by Wii that was sitting right next to this knife at the Wii table because I had tunnel vision, right? I was just looking at the Wii Vision R. And so I snagged it right away, staying out in LJ, Georgia with several people, Tri-State and Kara being one of them. And when we walked in that evening, everybody was going through their stuff. Tri-State had the Vision R. I didn't realize it was a SNEX lock. So immediately I was kind of soured on this knife. Not soured on it, I just had, wow, I wish I'd grabbed that SNEX while I was there too, because they sold out when I was there the next day. So anyway, that's just a long story short. But the Wii Mini Malice was initially a disappointment only because I found out that there was a knife at the table that I thought I would have liked better. I've since got the Vision R. I waited for him to come out. I love that knife, but it's a totally different story. In hindsight 2020, it has no bearing on how good this Ferrum Forge designed Wii Mini Malice has been and what I think about it. So starting out, this knife is, I want to say it is 20 CV, but I'm not 100% sure. I will put that in the description, and it's titanium. So when you check the description, it will have the blade steel this is. I can see it on there. I just can't read it. Hold on a second. It's right there, but I don't have my my glass, so I can't read it. I'll read it and put it in the description. But anyway, guys, sorry to slow you down there. It's a 20 CV, I think, but it's the Wii Mini Malice. It's a flipper knife, so it's got a really good detent. It's a button lock, but when you hear this detent, so there's no shaking this knife out. I mean, this knife with this flipper, you can push button it, you can light switch it. I don't think you could fail this knife. So the action and the deployment is fantastic. But what really sets this knife apart, in my opinion, is the size and the ergos and the way that that front choil works with my hand. As you guys, if you don't watch my channel, you might not know, but I love a good forward choil, and the Mini Malice is an absolute cardboard slash paper shredding machine. So let me grab a coupon, because the coupon book did come in, and let's see if it cuts. It's got a very thin behind the edge blade, really nice geometry, tall flat grind. This knife has been through a whole bunch of cardboard, broken down a whole bunch of cardboard. It's held an edge very well. I don't know how well the heat treat's done because I haven't measured it, but it is CPM 20 CV. I think that's what it's telling me. I'm sitting there looking at it through the lens, and then I'll look at it. I want to say that's what it is, and I'm sorry my squirrel brain's getting stuck on that, but I see it just glaring at me. But anyway, that is the Wii Mini Malice slicing abilities. So ergonomically, these handles are very smooth. This is kind of a, I would say, a Stonewash titanium, And as you can tell, they're rounded out really nicely. The button sits a little bit proud of the scales, but you're not going to accidentally depress it. And the fall shut action, this is horizontal, is really nice. The fuller is unique with this, I guess this Fair and Forge design kind of deployment slot or deployment holes. Instead of one holes, it's one slot with a lot of holes. So the only drawback that I would say for this knife is every now and then, because the slot is not more accessible, I'll miss it like I just did. So I don't know if y'all saw that, but I just missed it twice because I was talking about it. You've got the flipper, so you don't ever have to use that deployment slot. But I like to use a flipper deployment for my knives. And again, this one's very reliable. I don't want y'all to think it's problematic. It's just you have to kind of focus on it and make sure that you get your finger up in that little ledge. It doesn't have, I guess, as much bite as some knives. But the knife in my hand, which is a medium to large size hand, is great behind the flipper. So I could use this knife to poke, to stab, to do crazy stuff. But for detail cuts, the way I usually use the knife when I'm cutting down cardboard is here behind the choil. But if I'm opening boxes, you can do reverse cuts with it. I wouldn't want to cut a lot of straps with it, but it would do fine for really any cut that you're having to deal with. And I think the size of it for me is absolutely perfect. The pocket clip works great. It goes in and out of pocket with ease. I'm wearing jeans, have no problem getting that in and out of pocket. It is the titanium clip, and I am proud to say that it is all T8 hardware. So you got two body screws that are deep T8 hardware that's really well machined. So these are, in my opinion, not a threat to strip. The pivot screw is done really nicely there. You've got the WE captive pivot. So, just a win all the way around for design. You do have this little odd lanyard loop here, which I guess that's a good thing that they gave you the option. I'm not a lanyard guy, but I have some really good friends in the community that are. So I'd be interested how this would work. I think it would work fine. And then you've got two standoffs back here. But again, very smooth lines. On some knives, when you hold them, when you put a hard grip on them, you can feel sharp edges. The WE Mini Malice is not one of those knives. This is really smooth, really well done. I never handled a full-size Malice. I have a feeling it might have been too big for me, but I think it is a very well-designed knife, and I would like to try one of those out. I know they're scarce, but the Mini Malice has definitely scratched my itch. I can highly recommend this knife. It's available in a lot of different configurations. There's blue tie handles. There are different colors. I think there's even one with Damascus steel, but I could be wrong. Let's do a couple of quick size comparisons. Next to the Cold Steel 4MAX, the Civivi Baby Banter. It is much smaller than the Cold Steel 4MAX. It is indeed larger than the Civivi Baby Banter. Let's look at it next to the Benchmade Bug Out. It is actually smaller than the Benchmade Bug Out, which tells us it's going to be much smaller than the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. But we do have a Benchmade Mini Bug Out. So it's bigger than the Mini Bug Out by just a little bit. Smaller than the Bug Out by just a little bit. Which means I need to find my NAFCO Ben Peterson titanium ruler that I have a hard time reading. The blade is right at 3 inches. The handle is right at 4 inches, so it's a 7-inch knife. Behind that flipper, you're right at 3.5 inches. to that forward choil, which is really a lot, guys. You're right under 4.5 inches. That's this grip right here. Really nice, fits in my hand. I can imagine if you had a much larger hand, it would feel maybe a little cramped, but I'm not sure. I think it's a great feeling knife. Really thin behind the edge. Nice treatment on this swedge here. 3/4 flat grind. Just done really well, guys. And that's the Wee Mini Malice. It is a flipper design. It is a Fair and Forged collab. It is what I would consider maybe a gentleman's flipper. It's also, an everyday, a great, I would say, EDC knife. For me, in an urban environment, it works very well. Could you take it out in the woods and get work done? Absolutely. If that's what you are into, for sure. I mean, could this process game? Absolutely. That blade is very slicey, as you guys saw. It's a very strong design. I think it's very well done. The button lock is very stable, so you don't have lock fail there. That was I think isolated instances, but we can all agree that if you're going to hard use a knife, there are better knives. For example, this, if you want to, hard use a knife or abuse a knife. But for an everyday cutter, I can recommend this knife. I'm a big fan of this knife. Love the knife. Again, was underwhelmed initially only because when I took it out of the box, Tri-State's knife was cooler than mine. So I put it back in the box and didn't fully enjoy it till I got back to Huntsville. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I picked up the Vision R because it's a great knife, but it's totally different. Not taking anything away from this. Love it. Guys, I appreciate you stopping by to watch the video. If you stayed this long, please hit the subscribe button. Apologize for my dirty hands. Been sharpening. Please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to the right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. I love y'all. Peace.